Prima di annunciare l'ospite che è nel tavolo con noi, andiamo con la sigla.
Gridolini.
Chi abbiamo al tavolo con noi, Pietro?
Allora, abbiamo con noi il piacere, ma è talmente tanto alta l'emozione. Abbiamo Timothy Tim Ingold, antropologo, professore a Aberdeen, che è stato a fare un incontro a Testo sul fare, al quale noi faremo delle domande. Welcome professor, thanks to accept our invitation. So, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Enjoying my stay.
Stay, exactly. You know that the theme of this year of the book fair is to stay. And it's incredible. We read some of your books. My wife, she's like super fan. Like my son is a fan of Messi. My wife is a fan of you. And I was reading this beautiful book, Corrispondenze, that is a collection of different writing. And there is the thing of staying happens many times. What means for you the word to stay, the verb to stay?
It's an interesting word. In Scotland, where I live, when somebody asks you where you... In English they would say, where do you live? But in Scotland they always say, where do you stay? So it's a difference of idiom, and stay has this sense of somewhere where you've actually settled, where you are peaceful, and a place to which you always return. So staying has some sense of going away but returning.
Coming back.
Coming back, yes.
And why do you live in Scotland?
Well, it's a long story, but I was invited.
We like long stories.
I was invited to set up a new department of anthropology in the University of Aberdeen, with an emphasis on the anthropology of the North, which is my area. And we moved in 1999, and Scotland had recently had a devolved government, and we were excited that we thought that really. The possibilities in Scotland were rather more promising than in England, as they turned out to be.
We invented I'm a bookseller. We invented in our bookstore some very useful tools that helps you to find the phrase that you like in a book. I was very lucky because I underlined these without my tools, so it's difficult to find these. The immobility, so I would say stay, is the perfect condition of movement when all the other elements are in harmony. What does it mean?
Well, suppose you were in the air in a balloon, and you're floating through the air, and many people say that that's a condition of perfect harmony, because although it might be a very windy day and down on the ground people are holding onto their hats that they don't blow away, up in the air, because the balloon is going with the wind, not against it, you feel a certain stillness, and you might experience that as harmony. So if you're in the sky and then you fly, but with different way to fly, for example in an airplane, it's the same thing. It's just the same. You're staying, but you're moving. It's entirely different, because when you're in an airplane, you're inside a guided missile that is being propelled by gigantic force of burning fuel through the air. So far from going with the wind, that's with the balloon is simply sailing on the wind. So when you're traveling in the balloon, you don't feel any wind at all. But for the airplane, it's like a ship boring through the ocean. It's drilling a hole through the air.
So you're not you're staying, you're moving, but it's not you're not. But the elements are not in harmony around you.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And you are strapped to your seat.
Yeah.
So you are prevented from you instead of feeling at peace and harmony, at rest, you feel anxious and irritated. Because
in
you
my
want to-
case, super anxious.
Non so come si dice, ma si decolla sempre in controvento.
We always fly against the wind.
Against the wind.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
what they say.
No, when you start the plane, it have to be
It has to be against the wind. Yes. Yeah.
Come si dice filo in inglese? Filo.
filo. Nico.
Il
in
filo.
che
Il filo.
Il filo della lana?
Filo.
Ora te lo dico, vai avanti.
Ok.
No, vai, ti cerco filo, come si dice?
Because I do always this exercise, and no, it's not an exercise, but I open a book that I found interesting by chance, like this, and I opened before to pretend to be serious and to say esatto, raw. And it appears this phrase, the difference between the trace and the
Rose.
the filo. Which is the difference between a trace and a, because you know that this book fair comes from people that use this filo to build dress and clothes. What is the difference between a trace?
Now I see what you mean. The
Yeah.
difference between the
How do you say in English?
it would be a needle and thread. Right?
Needle, esatto,
Yes, yes.
esatto.
Non ti abbiamo sentito.
So-
Aveva detto idol poi.
Yes, yes. So what is the difference between a needle and thread on the one hand and a pencil and a line on the other, right?
Yes.
So you move the pencil across the paper and it leaves a line as a trace of your movement.
Yeah.
You move the needle through cloth and the thread follows behind. And so what's the difference? Well, if you've traced a line on a piece of paper, you can't pick it up and you can rub it out, but you can't pick it up and roll it up again. But if you use a needle and thread, you can't rub it out, but you can unstitch it.
I like a lot, needle and thread. This is what I wanted to know. And listen, I always bring my pen on my neck. I read somewhere that this is a wonderful, super modern tool that helps humanity.
Right.
You know, after this, I always bring with me.
Do you have a fetish pen? You know, a fetish that you always use to write?
No, the trouble is that I eat my pens.
Not this one.
So always the pen, this is just a barrel. Oh,
I see, eh?
it's in my mouth. I'm chewing
Well, it's like a nevrotic thing.
when I'm thinking, yes, and I can't, I'm addicted to it. I can't stop myself from doing it. But the result is that if I have a fountain pen, an ink pen, it never lasts more than a year. Because even if it's made of metal, of steel, after a year has passed, I've bitten through it. And I need a new
So,
one.
would you like to taste my pen? Mettiamo una canzone,
No, ma
forse.
facciamo scegliere una canzone.
Ok, can you
pick a song for us that we can listen together?
A song.
Yeah,
just a song?
A song
We
that
have
you
all
love.
the song full
Yeah.
every time.
You don't like music?
I do.
Yeah,
I'm a cellist.
Ah, okay. You play cello?
Yeah.
A good cello?
Yes. I think I'm quite a good cellist and I have
So-
quite a good cello.
And there is a
So Bach.
Yes.
there is a
Rostropovich.
pop song with cello that you like.
Well, of course, there's a very well-known Beatles song,
Which one?
Which one?
Qual è
which has a cello line in it, isn't it?
Yeah, but now this is a nice thing.
da,
Everybody.
cello line. Eleanor Rigby.
Eleanor Rigby.
Rugby. Na,
Yeah.
na, na, na.
Bene, ascoltiamoci
It has
Eleanor
a cello
Rigby.
in it.
Yes, we will listen together. Okay, thank you for this choice. Do you like Beatles? So
I do, yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Which is your favorite Beatles?
Oh, the
the guy, John, Paul,
which is
George,
my
or
favorite?
Ringo?
Oh, Ringo, because
Ringo.
then I was young, people said I looked like Ringo.
Ah, sì.
Ah, sì?
Yeah.
Then Ringo, he was like the guy who take all the other together, I think.
yeah.
Oh, with the drums, but also with the soul, I think.
You know, Nicolò is a wonderful drummer.
He's a great drummer,
He's the
so-
the best Italian drummer. Can we say this?
No, but it's your favorite. Ringo. And then a lot of people think that Ringo is not so good, but at the end of the time, he's one of the best. No, Vabbè, just a little.
So, Tim or Timothy? Can I call you Tim?
Tim.
Tim. What is the? Can you tell us? I read so our listener, they don't know the story about the complaint of the alpinist. About I love this story, and then we would like you to ask something about mountains. But then, if you can tell us what was this, the complaint of the alpinist.
This was an occasion, a meeting in this, a small town in the Scottish Highlands, where there were present some artists, some hill walkers, some local people, me as an anthropologist. There were about 50 people there, and we were discussing ways of relating to the landscape of the Highlands. And the two important people had been invited to speak, so outside speakers, and one was Doug Scott, who is this famous mountaineer. The other was Richard Long, the artist. And Doug Scott gave his talk, which was full of images either of formidable mountains, mostly in the Himalayas, or of men dressed up in goggles with ice axes and so on, looking very military, really. But he started his talk by saying that, well, there aren't really any more mountains to climb. I've climbed most of them, and they are all conquered. So he said, there's nothing left now except caving, which means going down, deep down, and exploring the underground, a sort of inverted mountaineering. And I was really so struck by this remark that I didn't really listen much to the rest of his talk, and I was thinking about it as to what it really meant to say that all these mountains have been conquered and therefore there's nothing left to do. Because for the hill walker's point of view, you can never...
Are you a hill walker?
Well, I'm a bit of a lapsed hill walker.
Okay.
But from their point of view, you can never climb the same hill twice. It's always different.
Like the river, like the story.
Like the river, yeah. There are always new things to find, new things to see, the light, the vegetation, stones, things you discover. And so it's a continuous process. That's why I was intrigued by
So the difference between, and then we arrive at the question, hill and a mountain, that it's a mountain in this idea is just a method to arrive, to conquer, and then move on.
To get to the top. Yeah, so that was his view. You get to the top, and that's all that matters. You come down again as soon as you got there. You don't stay at the top. And that's it, ticked off. You've done that one, and then you do another one. And you call that a mountain, because all that matters is the summit. But if you talk about a hill, that's something you inhabit. People who herd sheep or
stay.
They stay on the hill, and they belong to it. They heft to it. Actually, I was in last October in Japan and visiting a very mountainous region there, and I met a gentleman who, about my age, who climbs the mountain behind his house every day, more or less, and makes a living by catching rabbits. He's a hunter and a gatherer. And he explained how every time he goes up the hill, he cuts a walking stick from the woods, and then he's going up, the walking stick is a bit shorter because it'll be in front of him and you're going up. And then he leaves it at the top and he cuts another walking stick which is a bit longer and uses that on the way down. And that was exactly what I mean by actually inhabiting. He was inhabiting that hill.
Yeah, but you could habitate also a mountain. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Can you explain to us in 1 minute or 2 minutes what is a mountain?
As a conference, a little conference.
There are many ways of looking at it, aren't there? But from the mountaineer's point of view, or from the point of view of the alpinist, okay, a mountain is a massif with a summit. And the important thing about it is the summit. You can't have a mountain without a summit. You have to have a highest point, and that's what you're trying to reach. But for people who say, montagnards, people who say we live in the mountains. They wouldn't call themselves mountaineers. They might be shepherds. They might be foresters, or whatever. They might be hunters, but they're living in the mountains because for them the mountain is a place to inhabit. And whether you're at the top or somewhere else really doesn't matter.
I like this.
I really like this. There is something that you can do. We changed it.
We completely change arguments and.
Is there something that you can do which is spectacular but totally useless?
Could anybody do something that is spectacular?
For example, I have this power that is spectacular but completely unuseful. That I can guess name of the people random. I don't know. I have this power, and you can do the dog bark. And do you have some specific thing that you can do very well, but it's
destroy pen, for example?
Eating pens. No.
Well, I do eat pens.
Yeah, I know. Another thing.
It's an addiction, but it's a nervous thing. I don't know. Is there something I can do? I don't think there's anything really I can do that anybody else
I know for sure
can't.
that everybody has, but then you will think about, and then we become. Meanwhile, to make the question easier, what is the difference between ontology and ontogeny? Ontogeny. No, it's the same in English. Ontology, ontogenia.
So here's a possible answer to your earlier question.
Yeah.
One of the things I can do is think about odd concepts and the difference between them, which sometimes seems terribly important to me, but to be completely irrelevant to anybody else. So maybe
for example,
maybe that's it.
Yeah.
And maybe I worry a lot about the difference between ontology and ontogeny. and for most people out there, they would think
That two completely different meaning.
yes, they need to be. It's very important for me, but maybe for most people, a matter of no importance at all. It's like in Britain. If the weather is not going to do anything particularly interesting, nothing spectacular, it's going to be the same old weather, no particular wind, no particular rain, temperature's normal. The weather forecaster has a way of saying that the weather tomorrow will be entirely academic.
Ah, bellissimo.
So there you go.
Today is an academic day.
It's an academic day. So that's me being an academic, spending a lot of my life worrying about things. There's no concern to anybody
Academic
else, just because you feel you have to work them out. But ontogeny and ontology, I think, really is important. Ontology is about what it means for things to exist. Ontogeny is about what it means for things to become. And by putting ontogeny before ontology, I want to put becoming before existence. So I'm saying that if there's a table here, as there is, at some point or other, this table has had to become a table. Somebody's had to make it. Somebody's had to harvest the wood. The tree has grown. All these things have gone on, and therefore we now have this thing here. So if you were interested in ontology, you might be thinking, in what sense does this table exist? Are we just imagining it, or is it really there? And so on and so forth. If you're an ontologist, you would say, no, well, the thing to do is to find out how it came to be that this table is right here at this time. What were all the processes that gave rise to it?
So you are an ontogynist.
I'm an ontogynist.
No, we are ontologists.
I'm an ontogynist.
You're ontogynist.
Yes.
Another very simple question: to whom or who are you faithful to?
To whom am I faithful to? Well, my wife above all.
Wonderful. And more like
More in general.
This question is nice how it came out, and he called me very excited because he listened to this interview between a famous Italian director and Francis Ford Coppola and
Alice Rohrwacher.
and she asked him, what if you have to think about something that identify people
You.
what would you ask to identify? And he says, I would ask
Whom or who are you faithful to?
who or whom are you faithful to? So
Because in the present, the question is like, what do you do at the end? How much money did you earn?
To identify.
To identify.
Who are you?
In opposite, or this Francis Ford Coppola say, maybe it's better to ask to whom or who are you faithful to? And I think it's
I mean, if I think that anthropologically,
See, of course.
in asking this question about identity, if you meet a person and say, "Who are you?" Not what are you, but who are you? And what are you might say, "I'm a human being" or something like that. Who are you? You would begin to tell the story of your life, and of course you could tell that indefinitely with more and more and more details. You'd start maybe with a name, and then with the where you were born, where you grew up. Then you would start to talk about, well, I have my mother and my father and who they were and what they did, and then my friends and people you love and places you've been and places where you've stayed and that are part of you. And so that's becomes who are you? That's the
thank you. You're close.
that's the story of your life.
And so for you, what is the good question to identify? Identify.
Identify, yeah.
Identify you. You know, a people, a person.
If you were asking me to, well, how I would begin to answer that question, I suppose I would start with my childhood.
No, I would like that you choose a good question to make to someone to understand who is really.
I would ask them about where they come from and about who their parents were and whether they have brothers and sisters.
So the history of the family,
Yes.
for you, is that identify
He's an
you.
anthropologist.
Not the only thing, but I would start there.
At the end, what it was the last question?
Sorry?
You will start asking for family,
Yes.
and at the end,
Oh, at the end, what would be the last question? It could go on forever. But
You know why he's asking this? Because we asked our guest something could be terrible. What we are terrible guys. What will you write
On your tombstone.
On your tombstone,
Yeah.
of course. Is it?
yes. So what would I write on my tombstone?
Yes.
I don't know. I haven't.
Arriva buona.
I really haven't thought about it.
Hopefully.
Perhaps I should start thinking about it.
No.
But, I don't
Allora,
know.
scegliamoci, we listen to a song, you think about your thumb description, and
song that I choose is a Leonard Cohen song, "Dance Me to the End of Love."
rientriamo Edo sulle...
With a great song, "Dance Me to the End of Love," Leonard Cohen, and during all the song, thing was like thinking. So the question is good. It means that the question is good. And you, fortunately, you didn't have a pen. Otherwise, it will be broken,
It would be broken by now.
in these last 2 minutes.
Yes. Yes, it would. And I still don't know the answer.
That means that it's idea really far from you and it is good. So we another question. What's your relationship with boring?
Boring.
Boring.
To be
Dull.
To be bored.
Annoiato,
To
yes.
be bored.
Bored. Well, I guess I'm a very restless person and a very impatient person, which means I suppose that I'm quite easily bored. That my wife is always telling me off and saying, why can't you? Why do you always have to be doing something? She says, why don't you just
Relax.
Relax. And I find that very hard to do because I get agitated if I try to relax. I've got to be doing something or thinking something, and I don't think that I get bored very often, but I look around and I see an awful lot of bored-looking people who probably, if you ask them, would say they're not bored at all. They're just doing what they like to do. It's just that what they like to do
No,
seems...
they are bored. No, I
seems
promise.
Do you think they might be?
Yeah, they might be.
Yeah.
We can see from your eyes that you never bored. So
I
curious.
don't usually suffer, and certainly I never wake up in the morning and wonder what am I supposed to do with the day. But,
Never.
never.
Never in your life.
Well, not as long as I remember.
You have to go to university. You have to play cello. You have to ride.
There's
you
always
have to-
something to do.
Yes.
For example, next Sunday, what you will do?
You mean
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're still in Florence. So
That's good.
Yes, we'll look around.
Do you have a dream thing to do in Florence that you didn't do
So far.
so far?
We haven't yet been inside the cathedral, but I'm not actually dreaming about that. So I don't know. I've actually, to be honest, I have. There's a paper that I'm supposed to have finished yesterday, and is very much bothering me because I haven't finished it yet, and I got to do that. And I've got to give 2 talks in Brussels on Monday, or one on Monday and one on Tuesday, and I've got to get myself ready for those.
So-
It's time for alcohol in Radio
It's time
Guidolini,
for a
guarda.
toast.
It's time for a toast.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. it arrives, anzi in
Prosecco
vantaggio. In avvantaggio, mi è venuto
In
in francese,
avvantaggio, in anticipo, in
Facciamo
anticipo.
un'ultima domanda a Tim.
Sì, sì. But then if I can...
Ecco, palesemente questa, secondo
me, Edoardo, Francesco, we are from Florence. Everyone give a tip of what doing tomorrow for team. I would say the Specola Museum, the Museum of Natural Science, but
Is that the one with all the instruments in? I have been to that.
the
kind of
the waxes and then the animals, and then it's beautiful. It's inside the Boboli Garden.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Cosa, il giardino delle rose?
No, il giardino il museo della specola. Il tuo
Il
suggerimento?
giardino delle rose, something more relax, you
The
know.
Rose Garden.
Yes.
Francesco?
Walk to San Miniato al Monte and Museo Marino Marini.
Marino,
Magari is
You have a
Scotland.
full day.
You don't have the time to get burned. Yeah.
No, no.
L'ultima domanda, last question, fare a te. Non so come si dice bisnipote, forse Eva lo sai, ora te lo cerco il nome. Proviamo a spiegarla mentre io cerco la traduzione, Pietro.
What would you say to your great nephew?
What would I say to my great nephew?
Maybe we'll never meet probably, but great
No.
nephew.
I would say that make sure to learn some good skills, like handwriting, like playing a musical instrument, and make sure to pass them on to your children. That's what I would say to him.
Grande, grazie Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being our guest. If you want, you can have a proper drink with us. You can invite your wonderful wife to have a bubble drink.
I will invite my wife to have a
Okay,
bubble drink.
thank you very much. And now we listen to a song.
Harry Nelson, Everybody's Talking.
Okay.